Hello everyone, how are you all?
Hello, ma'am.
So yeah, let's start the session. So you know me, right? Shwani Kumari, cybersecurity researcher. So moving forward, yeah, important notice. All the content which will be shared or delivered throughout the boot camp is strictly for educational purpose and lies under the code of conduct of GT Jalandhar. So I request all the participants to follow the code of conduct. And yes, neither GT Jalandhar nor me will be responsible for any damage or harm caused by any participants. So next, so this is the agenda, and we will discuss about vulnerabilities and approach to finding flaws. And yeah, we will discuss about different common flaws today, and more descriptive session will be on day 5 and day 6, which is a practical session. So moving forward, vulnerabilities and approach to finding flaws. So I have a small question for you all. How many of you know what is VAPT? You can use chat sections. VAPT.
Vulnerability assessment, penetration testing. Is it a part of two things? Vulnerability assessment, and other thing is penetration testing.
Yeah.
In vulnerability assessment, we just do some research kind, find the vulnerability. Just we are not going to exploit it, or we do it in penetration testing. We are going to exploit the bug or vulnerability.
Okay. So anyone else wants to answer the question like what is VAPT? Okay. Nice. So okay.
Actually, vulnerability assessment is kind of finding the vulnerabilities, and penetration testing is somehow confirming whether it is vulnerability or not.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So vulnerability VAPT is abbreviated as vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So when cybersecurity professional test the application, it can be manual or automated. So which depends on the use case. Like after checking a few crucial parameters like the impact and the severity of the flaw in identified. So this is like I have explained by the taking the word VAPT. Now I have a question for you all. Like, what is vulnerability assessment? Only vulnerability assessment.
Finding vulnerability, I think that is in any web or application is a vulnerability assessment.
Okay. So yeah. So vulnerability assessment is reviewing and scanning the system to identify the vulnerabilities and configuration issues that an attacker may be able to take the advantage. So it's all about the scanning the system and find the vulnerability. So there's another question for you. What is penetration testing?
Exploiting the vulnerability.
Okay,
It is a way to fix that vulnerability.
okay, nice. Scanning the network. This comes under the vulnerability exploitation. Yeah, exploiting. So penetration testing is trying to attack the flaws, to know about the severity of the vulnerability, or the what's the impact of that vulnerability in the application. So majorly we find business logic vulnerabilities by connecting small flaws or issue and make the big impact. So we will explain this later. So moving forward, yeah, here comes strategy of penetration testing. So while finding the vulnerability, which what we have to we have to know how to step find the vulnerability and how to make reports and all. What's the steps? So the first one is reconnaissance. It means information gathering. So it is the first and foremost step for any penetration tester. And all those who attended the first week of cybersecurity TechDrill, so they had done this already as a task. Remember information gathering on Bharat Agrawal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So sometimes you can even find a vulnerability just by gathering information on a particular application or a software. So the next phase is system engineering. So system engineering is all about understanding how a system works, how system is being deployed, or how it has been developed. So what's the flow of the internal and external workflow, and the all about the flow of particular system. So these are the particular things which are important, and it will be much more useful when you come into the field of penetration testing. So let me explain by an example. So I would say that each and every one of us are into the system engineering. So let's suppose you book a flight ticket, and while booking a ticket, suppose you are a regular customer of an let's suppose abc.com, and you regularly book a flight ticket from that website. But in case the website isn't working properly, or suppose the server is down or some other issue, so you have to shift from that particular application to other application, or the other registrar of flight ticket vending system. So for example, I'm completely new to Paytm, let's suppose, and I got hold of Paytm flights. So I'm not going to search tutorials on how to book a flight ticket on Paytm. That will be completely lame for being a person in this era. So I will not search for that, but rather than that, I just see the user interface or the user experience, and I just try to understand. Yeah, this is from where I have to put my current location. This is to where I have to put the destination location, the date, which will be my travel date. So uh, there are few things I'll be understanding the system, and I'll be proceeding with the flow. So this is how a basic system engineer works, and because each and everyone here is implementing system engineering our day-to-day life. So just implementing the same thing when you test a system. When you find the vulnerability. So before finding the vulnerability, just check the flow of the system. What's the function of that? The particular button or something else. So yeah, coming to the next step, which is social engineering. So it's a combination of undertaking of understanding, or faking something, or also about human psychology. So in this, uh, we- we make the victim believe that you are the right person and attack in that particular victim. So if you had attended the first week, you have seen the email spoofing. Bhaskar had explained that in our demo session. So that comes under social engineering, how we can send the mail from anybody to anybody without having access to their email account. So here comes the next phase, which is finding the vulnerability. So,
Yeah, Shivani, just a minute. Just wanted to add few points in social engineering.
okay, okay.
So even there are few fat books related to social engineering, right? So this is a very huge subject, and if you get a job or get a project of red teaming, right, you can just search what exactly red teaming is. So over there, this will be really very helpful. You should have skills to manipulate a user. You should have few access to in order to send some malicious mails to the company, right? So recently I got this project, and not recently, it was a long time back, I guess 6 months back. I got a project where I was doing red teaming in that project. So it was completely network based simulations, and then we got few access points. We got an service running up there, which was with in which there were few ports open, and we should have per, a person from that ABC company, right, to help us. But of course, no company people will be helping us to hack their own infrastructure, right? And their managing directors have given us the task so that we get into their system and show that yes, these are the weak points in their infrastructure. So what we did, we just made a simple Excel file which had a macros in it. And if you know what macros is, it is basically automation thing. And in that macros, we wrote our malicious code, and we just sent that email to one of their employees. But he did not click, so we sent an bulk email to n number of people. Of course, we were having the approvals from their higher authority to do that. So once the mail was clicked by one of the employees, we got a response that this person has opened this email. Okay, now he just clicked on that Excel sheet, assuming that this is just an Excel sheet, nothing is going to happen, right? It is not an executable file. He's not installing anything. He's not clicking on any malicious links, something like that, and he's not entering any credentials. So that person just clicked on that link, and boom, we got that. We got his system's access, and we were able to run few commands from that employee's PC and get into their network. And like that, we got access to their whole company's infrastructure. So this was the power of social engineering. So basically, even in past, we have seen that many social media accounts are being attacked. Many celebrities accounts got hacked in few months back, right? I guess in the month of February, March, something like that. So most of the attacks were done by social engineering itself. So if you are aware that yes, I won't click on any malicious link, I won't click on any uh, file, something like that, then you'll be safe enough. So I came to know one thing when I was engineering first year student. I received an email something regarding cyber security training. Right, they were charging a lot, but yeah, I was just looking into it. I just clicked that mail, and I received a message that thank you for checking our email. It was like it was that mail I have received 2 days back, and I clicked after 2 days, and just after clicking it, I got a message. So they said that thank you for viewing our email. I was like, there are people who can do something different as well, right? So it's better even not to click on unknown email links or even email. They will they can get a notification, something like that, right? So yeah, this is what I wanted to say regarding social engineering. It's better not to fall in the trap of wrong people.
Uh, there's a question for you. Ask in the chat box.
Yeah, let me check. Do you use empire for macros attack? So it was uh what we say, I cannot name that thing. I guess I'm not authorized to, but yeah, it was a macros attack, I can say that. It was Excel based macros attack. Okay, something that happened in our college. See, if anyone here is working in any firm, right? It's obvious that you will be having these kind of simulations every then and now. Even because there are few firms, it is secure enough, everything is secure, but if employees don't have awareness and if they click on some malicious links, company is going to pay for that, right? So this is why they just like how there will be cyber was not cyber, there'll be fire outbreak drill, right? Similarly, in companies nowadays, they are sending these kind of phishing mails, and once you click on that mail, it will give you a pop-up that this was a phishing simulation and this was an intended test for you. Now your promotion will be at stake, something like that. So it's better not to click on any link even in your company if it is from an external source. Fine. So that was what I wanted to say. It has affected many people. I know my personal connections as well, right? And I felt really bad because they were later coming and reaching me out and they said that something happened and how to do it. And once you lost, it's done. You can only prevent for the future stuff. It cannot be done in present. And yeah, there are few people who are downloading some games and softwares cracks and other things, and my just first connection people, even they are being attacked. One of them was into cybersecurity. I don't understand why are they clicking on those games and just trying to play it for free. It's okay if you're working somewhere, it's reasonable, just go and buy it, right? We have to increase the developers and the firms for that, for their innovation or some development stuffs. It's better not to use any crack stuff and be on the ethical side, or else ransomware attacks are very common these days. Like normal people can simply get affected on their system and all their files will get encrypted, and if your browser has some credentials saved in it, even they will get leaked. So it's better stop using any crack if you or if any friend of you are doing it. Fine. Okay. Shivani, you can continue about finding vulnerabilities.
Okay. So so the fourth step is finding vulnerabilities and attempt to break in. So here we will be focusing on SAST, which is static application security testing, and DAST, which is dynamic application security testing scans. So there are few tools available to scan applications, like we have Burp Suite, Netx, and NetSparker. Uh, Even we can also use Nmap. So we can find in the output results, and we get the CV of the vulnerability, which is common vulnerability exposure number. So we can later Google search them, and using the exploit, we can also exploit that vulnerability. So being a white hat, I expect everyone would be a white hat. So you did not exploit a system. You should responsibly disclose the vulnerability to the particular firm or to the correct person, not directly to the firm. So, for example, you got vulnerability in, let's suppose, xyz.com, and you know an employee from xyz.com, or abc.com, just whatever the website is, and you're simply reporting it, saying, "Hey, I got this vulnerability. Can you just relay this message to your firm?" So that is not the right way to approach. If you do so, there's a possibility that the particular employee will be misusing it, right? So it's advised not to share all the vulnerability steps with anyone else, and simply give those particular steps to reproduce, and the impact of that vulnerability to the designated person, like who is a security engineer or the bug bounty program manager of that particular firm. So in penetration testing or bug hunting, these are the very sensitive topics. Like we have to be alert all the time. So yeah, here
Yeah,
comes the
just a minute, just a minute. The thing which you said, it recently happened along one of my friend. So
okay.
what he exactly did is, apart from like reaching the specify or the main person of the security team, what my friend did is he found a good vulnerability. I would not say it is P1, but yeah, he found a good vulnerability. He could have got somewhere around 500 or $800, but what did he do? He just simply contacted the customer care and he just said that I found a vulnerability. This is the thing, and he did not get any reply, and it was just patched. It was very simple, and they did not reward him for anything. So yeah, this is not the thing. Don't talk to customer care. Don't uh, send email to any of your known or something like that. Contact their security team. If they don't have a security team, then and if they have a policy that yes, you can test in our applications and you can report it, then just search on few bug bounty platforms. If they are there, fine. If they are not, connect with them on LinkedIn and say that hey, I doubt that there is a vulnerability in your system, and I just want to test this thing. Can I get approval for that? And once they approve you, do some kind of testing. If you get a vulnerability, fine. If not, then that's okay. So yeah, it's better always to stick with the right people at the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, बस कस्टमर केयर को मत बता देना, ठीक है? Okay, continue.
Okay. So yeah. So the fifth, Microsoft wants to know your location. Okay. So the next phase is checking the exploitability. So after finding the vulnerability, what's the next step? So yeah, we have to check the criticality of the the vulnerability. So for example, I got a skill injection, and which is very critical in nature. But what if even after using a skill injection payload, and I got into the system, and I got into the database, but the database is empty. So like, what will be the exploitability? So the impact of that vulnerability will be completely null. So we have to understand the exploitability rate of that particular attack, and then we have to report it to the firm. So if you find a vulnerability and that is not exploitable, so that vulnerability is of no use. So for example, a system has cross-site scripting vulnerability. Let's suppose self-accesses, and that won't be incorporated by any of the firm like Facebook, Google. They don't even consider it as a vulnerability for that form. So yes, uh, before reporting that vulnerability, first check the exploitability, criticality, or the severity of that vulnerability, or check the the vulnerability, like if it is you know incorporated by the firm or not. So yeah, then come to the last phase. Validator software. Okay, okay. So yeah. So the last step is reporting with POC, which is proof of concept. So when we find vulnerability after checking the exploitability, we have to make a good PDF or a documentation file where you explain the whole vulnerability, the whole scenario, the steps to reproduce, and what you use to exploit that vulnerability. What all the codes did you try to inject to achieve a let's suppose local file inclusion or a remote code execution. So mention all the steps what you have done from starting to the end. Also mention the tools that you use so that they can reproduce and check whether it is really exploitable or not. So yeah, that's all about the strategy of penetration testing. Okay, moving forward, we have most common vulnerabilities, and I'll invite Bhaskar.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, I'll take this slide for now. uh SQL injection, right? So can any like we have discussed this in earlier week also. So can anyone come up and say what SQL injection is? If you know, even a basic answer will be fine.
yeah.
Anyone? See, this is one of
Uh,
the topmost vulnerabilities in top 10 OWASP, right? Yeah, go ahead, Prashant.
it is kind of bug because of which the attacker is kind of able to get the data from the databases.
Okay. So, in very simpler words, SQL injection, right? So, a user who doesn't has access to backend is able to inject a SQL query or something related to SQL and achieving it, or that SQL stuff is being executed. Then it is known as SQL injection. It is not always needed that you'll need to bypass the login page or get the table. Only then SQL injection works. It's not something like that. Even if a simple SQL command is being executed from a user end, that is fine, right? And yeah, uh, we'll be having practical in few minutes about SQL injection. So moving forward about cross scripting, right? So uh, new people, like, they must have been seeing that, see, this is CSS, right? Cross site scripting. Why it is written as XSS? So basically, CSS in web, we also take it as cascading style sheets, and because this is in security context, we take it as cross in the sense X. So cross scripting. So again, what exactly cross scripting is? Cross in the sense cross origin, or else two other websites, right? Take it example as me and Vrijraj Singh. We are two people, and then if I'm able to do something in Vrijraj's system, right, or his web application or something else, then there's a chance of cross communication. And side scripting, like cross site again scripting. Scripting in the sense, whenever I develop a website, okay, for example, I'm a web developer. I want my website to be precise, secure, and rigid enough, so that only user will be able to fetch data but not manipulate the data, right? I haven't given such permission to anyone. But again, there's a possibility, if a user is able to inject, right, if a user is able to inject cross a JavaScript code, basically, and it is executing, it is running, right, then XSS is a major concern for that web application. So even for a basic XSS, reflected XSS, a minimum you can expect maybe 500 to $1,000, right? So cross scripting is a concern, and it is very easy to locate. So there are a few automated tools as well, right, which can get hold of few vulnerabilities. We'll let you know about those awesome tools. Only JS is used for XSS. For cross-site scripting, yes, right. There are many other injections. Even we can consider cross-site scripting as a basic form of injection, because we're injecting a JavaScript code, right? And in normal injection, we have many injections like HTML injection, plain text injection, SQL injection, etc., right? And then later, this is my most favorite vulnerability. It is IDOR, or we say it as insecure direct object reference. So what basically this vulnerability does, what basically we do, whenever I see a URL, right, and it has some numbers or it has some value in it, and if I change that value and something changes in the in the web browser, then there is a huge possibility of IDOR attack. So for example, i have a I have a web application, and over there in the top, it is written that message from is equal to Bhaskar to is equal to Vrijraj, right? And then there's a portal. I simply enter the message, and from my account, message has been sent to Vrijraj. Fine. Now, if I'm clicking on after Vrijraj, if I click on Varsha, right? Then over in the URL, it's saying from you message from is equal to Bhaskar to Varsha, right? So the value has changed. I just saw, okay, value is being changed in two, but in from it is constant because I'm sending the message. So if you try changing from Bhaskar to from maybe Shivani, right? And if I send from Shivani to Varsha, then I'll be authenticated. I I did not authenticate into anyone else's account, but still message will be sent from her account to Varshad as well. So that is these things, it actually happens even today. And I recently also got a good flaw. It has been triaged in IDOR section itself. So it is really very interesting stuff. You can just simply search IDOR HackerOne report, something like that on the Google, and you'll get many results. And then CSRF, this is very common vulnerability. Few people exclude this vulnerability as a information, but still this is actually a issue, right? If a website, for example, there the two people, right? Me and Rijraj, and if I open the door, ask everyone from my house to come out, and if I close the door, right, it should be applicable only to my house, not Rijraj's house, right? And imagine that Rijraj is my um very next neighbor, and I opened my door, I asked everyone to come out, and if I close, and similarly, if I see beside, without even Rijrat's consent, everyone from their house has come out, and then the door is locked. So understanding, right? This is not possible in real life, but in technical stuff, in CSRF, what we can do is cross-site again. Cross-site, right? Means there are two websites, and they are communicating with each other. Request forgery, right? Then for example, we are in Google Meet, and we are sending messages on the Google Meet in call messages, fine. Then if I send a message, it should be in meet.google.com itself. It cannot go to mail.google.com, right? But if this is achieved, then there is a flaw. So CSRF basically is like, how to select target for hunting for beginners. Select target for hunting, right? We'll share few Google Docs, right? uh, just by hitting those Google Docs, you'll be getting few, what we say, websites who have in scope for bug bounty programs, and you can test in them. But still, giving you a picture like with the stuff which is easy, it is if you get into Synac Red Team, right? You'll be getting huge projects, and you'll be getting good amount of payment as well. Like you can expect a minimum payment of $500 per month if you are into Synac Red Team. For that, you have to clear a CTF round, and there are few rounds, and then and a small interview. Fine. And that interview is like automated interview, and automated um application will be asking you a question. You have to record yourself and submit the video, and they'll review it, and they'll let you in. So we'll discuss about those things tomorrow. And what is the difference between CSRF and XSS? In XSS, we focus on JavaScript, and even if it is from the own JavaScript website itself. So XSS, right? XSS basically works from our own from our own website. For example, if my website is hacksonic.com, and if I post a vulnerability, if my website is vulnerable, right? And there's a cross-site scripting vulnerability, then attacker will attack my website and send the data somewhere else. Understandable, right? And in CSRF, the victim's website is not being attacked, but some other website will be attacking the main host, right? Okay, so for example, again, explaining you it in a bit more, I'll be demonstrating few attacks as well. So stay over here. Yeah, stored accesses can harm the server, only clients are only. Stored accesses can harm server very badly. So this is why they get paid a lot. Fine. Okay, so there are few types of accesses as well: reflected, stored, and DOM. Right. Reflected get a bit pay less, and then stored get more paid. Yeah. So talking about URL redirection. Can you explain CSRF again? Okay. Then for CSRF, right? If I click a button in uh, website A, right, it should perform the whole functionality in website A itself, right? Uh, if I'm clear, if I'm clicking a button on website A, it should perform the uh, function in website A itself. It should not it should not ask some other website to perform that functionality. But here, if there's a CSRF, if you click a button in website A, there's something going on website B itself. So CSRF attack can be achieved, for example, recently, not recently, almost 2 years back. I don't know why I keep on saying recently. Uh, like Bharat Agarwal had a chance to make a POC. I'm not sure if it is available now or not, but still, if it is available, I'll let you know and I'll make a POC video to show it tomorrow. So what exactly happens is, if so Bharat can send you a link, and if you click on that link, right, and you're logged in into some e-commerce website, I'll not mention it. Right, it is not e-commerce also, so not an issue. For example, you are logged in into an e-commerce website, and Bharat has sent you a link, and once you click on that link, it says that, hey, click here, right, and you click on that button, your password is going to be changed in that e-commerce website if you click that link. So a functionality will be executed in some other website. So here where is the problem in that e-commerce website, which has a change of password functionality, but they did not have proper checks. So for the proper check, we use CSRF tokens. If you know what exactly CSRF token is, you can just simply Google it. Fine. Yeah, who am I? You can ask a question.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was saying that is it possible like sometimes on WhatsApp we get links. If you click on this link or share this with other friends, you will get a prize.
So
So
those
and
are
when we
fake.
click on the link,
Yeah.
yeah, like uh, are there any chances like they can get our data when we click on
Yes,
those
there's a
links?
huge chance. Let me explain this scenario. So you might keep getting
Please,
few links, and they won't even ask you password or something else like that. They just simply say that, hey, click on spin the wheel. If you get something, maybe you're getting an iPhone for free of cost. Just share
yes,
this
yes,
link to 10 more people and you'll get it. So see, there are no trackers available for them as well, because they cannot track any Android specific application. That is not allowed. If it is allowed, then again it is a CSRF kind of vulnerability. Fine. So yeah. uh, so what will that person achieve? First question, right? So that person will achieve multiple things. If that website has a advertisement kind of a thing, then he'll be earning from the advertisements being showed to people, right? If it doesn't has a advertisement, then most probably people are using cryptojacking method. So you must have heard about cryptocurrencies, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, etc. So what
yes,
people usually do is, these malicious people, they send you the link, and people they keep on opening it, and they say that stay in this website, stay in this site for 5 more seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, generate a link. Again, click on that link. Again, they'll say stay in this website for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and you have to see the ads, right? So if you have a low end computer along with you, just try to access some malicious website or some torrent website kind of a thing, and you will notice a hike in your system performance behavior, right? So adware steals data. No, adware doesn't steal data, it just shows you advertisement. Spyware will steal your data. Fine. Okay, so yeah, there are few malwares, right? Malware is equal to malicious software, and under malware we have adware, spyware, something something, right? Okay, and then in spin the wheel, right, they will have few trackers installed in them. They they will check few hops, they will get into your devices, they might install few unethical applications. So there are few people, right, they see a pop-up, like usually parents or people who are not very good at technology thing, they'll see a pop-up, allow or deny. They'll see that, okay, if I'm getting something and it says that allow, okay, let's click on allow. Once they click on allow, they'll keep on getting notifications and notifications, right? You're understanding this, right? So
Yes,
It's
yes.
better, yeah, it's better to avoid those websites. And if anyone sends it in your WhatsApp group or something else like that, just tell everyone that, hey, refrain from clicking on this link. It might be it is obviously a scam, and there's nothing as Amazon or Flipkart or Alibaba something dot xyz website. Fine.
Mhm.
So people, they usually
Yes,
target
thank
these
you.
major e-commerce website for this thing. Yeah. So yeah, talking about URL redirection, right? URL redirection is very common, and these days, if you see any new web application coming into the market in bug bounty field, you can get this vulnerability in few clicks. You just need to check few get parameters in the URL, like continue, something like that, right? In the URL, if you have abcd.com slash login question mark redirect to slash dashboard, right? Then what is going to happen? Once you log in, you'll be redirected to abcd.com slash dashboard. And if before logging in, if you change the URL from slash dashboard to google.com and you hit enter and you enter your credentials, what is going to happen? If they did not write the code properly, you are going to get redirected to some other website, right? So this is what you URL redirection means. So the website will be original. The website, your if your friend sends you the website, it will be original, right? You'll be thinking that yes, this is the original website, I need not uh, get a suspicious feeling on this thing. Let me log in, and once you log in, it'll redirect you somewhere else, and later on you won't be seeing the URL, and you might enter your credentials, and boom, you'll be gone, right? So it's better whenever the website refreshes, just keep an eye on URLs in order to be safe. Fine. And if it is an Android application, then it's fine, it won't redirect you somewhere else. If it is, then you need to check in the native browser of that Android application, because most of the uh, application, they use their own native browser. Okay. Talking about security misconfiguration, so we keep on seeing, right? um, so if any web developer are there over here, you will probably know that we use third party common libraries very much. Like we use jQuery, we take use of few CMS or few APIs to achieve few tasks. So if anyone is using some deprecated software or deprecated plugins, or old version of any language, or old version of any cloud, maybe older version of Nginx server, something like that, then that will come under misconfiguration. So for example, if you're using Windows 7 right now, what is going to happen? Can anyone uh, tell me in the chats, or by turning off your mic? What is going to happen if you use Windows 7 now? Okay, no one. Okay, cool. I expected an answer. I thought that some of you might be aware of it.
We won't have any update regarding Windows 7, so someone
Uh, yeah,
may
that
generate
is,
some
yeah, yeah,
background noise.
that is a very reasonable answer. But I want the name of that vulnerability. Basically, there's a vulnerable. So see, if I okay, 101. Yeah, that is what I wanted, right? Network security guy. Okay, so for example, um, if I want to hack someone's maybe social media account, right? The only thing which I can do is either install a spyware in a system or send him a phishing link, something like that. That is pretty lame. Nowadays, no one clicks on these things. But if you want to hack anyone's operating system, right? That way, if it is Windows 7, this is why Windows has deprecated all its service from Windows 7. Sorry, Microsoft has deprecated all its service from Windows 7, and they asked everyone to shift to Windows 10. Fine. And the vulnerability name is Eternal Blue, if you ever heard of it, right? It is also MS101, MS17101, whatever it is, right? So Eternal Blue, this is a series of vulnerability. It is available in a tool named Metasploit. Earlier we have installed Windows, so earlier we have installed Kali Linux, right? In that there's a tool named Metasploit. In this, you will get this vulnerability. And there are exploits, sorry, not vulnerability, exploits. And if you have Windows 7 within your network. So for example, I'm using my ISP and with and in my router, and my router is good at its capacity, and there are hundreds of people using it, right? There is some person who is using Windows 7. So over here, just I can run a nmap scan first. If I run an nmap scan, I'll get a brief idea on what all systems are connected. I can see, okay, this is a Samsung device with Android 11, this is a laptop with Windows 8, this is a laptop with Windows 10. I see a system, a computer basically with a desktop with Windows 7. I'll just need that its IP address. I'll enter the IP in Metasploit in Eternal Blue vulnerability. There's a exploit named as TCP reverse, I guess. Yeah, TCP reverse. And then I simply hit enter. Just one line of command, entering the IP address, and boom, I'll be getting his whole shell access. I can turn off his system. I can look whatever that person is doing. I can open his CD drive. I can permanently switch off his system. We can do anything, right? So this is why deprecated softwares refrain from using it. Fine. And then later talking about sensitive data exposure. This is again uh, a flaw which can comprise of other vulnerabilities as well. So if you get SQL injection, if you get some PII, that is sensitive data exposure. If you get into insecure direct object reference, and if you get some admin data or credentials, something like that, then it is sensitive data exposure, something like that. So basically, the data should be sensitive. Maybe PII, someone's address, name, number, whatever it is, right? So yeah, next to is very common vulnerabilities, I can say. uh, we have no rate limiting, right? What is no rate limiting? So you might have heard this word brute force attack, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah. So what brute force attack is, you keep on sending data, or you keep on testing on a particular input field. So for example, if I enter username, and if I click on forget password, it'll ask me for maybe 4-digit OTP. What I'm going to do, from 0000 to 9999, I'll enter a payload from online. I can get it very easily. Or if you're using Linux, you can use Crunch for that. There's a tool named Crunch. So you can take that word list, you can import in some brute forcer, like even Burbster does the job, or else John the Ripper. Uh, we have multiple tools for that, right? So if you use scan enable, it's again fine. So just if you are able to keep on sending the request to the server, and it is accepting that request and checking it, right? Then this is a flaw. But if there's a rate limiting, right, then what it will do, you have tried to enter 5 wrong OTPs. Now wait for 10 or 20 minutes, something like that. So that is a good practice of building a software, right? So whenever you get these kind of messages that you can test website, something like that, that you create a testing account, and then try to log in with wrong credentials, maybe 50 to 100 times, right? And if it does not block you, then there's a no rate limiting, and you can report it. And this is very common vulnerability, you will get easily rewarded for that, right? But make sure it should be listed in some website, in some bug bounty platform. So last one is account lockout. Guys, just a minute. Yeah. So yeah, account lockout. So for example, I guess most of you have experienced it, or your friends have experienced it in uh, some social media website. Let's take example of Facebook, right? See, Okay, Karthikeya is saying I always see rate limiting as out of scope. Yes, most of the websites they keep it as out of scope, but if you chain it with some better vulnerabilities, right, or some better impact, if you describe it very properly and give a reference of some report which has actually been which has actually given some reward or some bounty, then of course they will also address it. Okay, so account lockout, right? So just giving you an example, you have used Facebook, you forgot your password, and you keep on trying entering wrong passwords. What it is going to do, it'll say that you have no longer access to it, or else something like that, and it'll block you for few hours, and it'll say that this is for security, and this is actually a good thing. Fine. So they don't allow you to enter any further stuff, and they lock your account for a particular period. There'll be a cooldown time, maybe for 15 minutes, or in worst situation 24 hours, something like that, right? So this is account lockout. And how can this be a flaw? Let me explain it to you. So for example, I have tested account lockout multiple times, and how can I explain this? Okay, so for example, if there's a social media website, I tried multiple times trying the wrong password and it blocked me, right? But I'm not trying it for my account, I'm trying it for, maybe I'm trying to get into Bharat's account without his consent, right? And I keep on trying. It said that, hey, your account is locked. And if actual Bharat Agarwal, if he tries to log in, then yeah, he will be able to log in, right? But what if that account is logged, even he is not able to log in? It says that your account has been logged. It was not the fault of Bharat, right? It was the flaw of that company who has done this, right? They have blocked an account in account level, not in IP level. They should actually do they should actually block an IP from performing these tasks. So you can also check this. This is also a good and common vulnerability nowadays. You can also report it for the newcomers and bug bounty field, newcomer companies and bug bounty field, right? So what you can do, you can just give them an remediation, like don't block the account at account level. You can do one thing, you can block my IP for certain time and then leave it. Fine. If I'm making sense, you'll be happy enough to get good amount of bounties. And for the, we are almost up for an hour. I'll just request Shivani to show SQL injection just for a moment, and then we'll be having practical session from tomorrow, because explaining was a bit important, I guess. Just a minute.
Wait, let
Yeah.
me share my screen.
Mhm. Just explain SQL injection for now. You can explain other vulnerabilities tomorrow, because we're already top of an hour.
Yeah, wait.
हाँ राहुल मेहता, मैं तो जल लूंगा अभी. Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, so yeah. So this is the project, web application vulnerability simulation, where I have simulated most common vulnerability, which is SQL injection, broken authentication, cross-site scripting. So we don't have much time to explain all this, the practical session. So we'll be explaining only SQL injection today. So, SQL is a programming language used to manage data in databases. So over here, let me show you my database. So yeah, over here, these are the credentials. You can see there's only 5 credential in the user database. So I'm going to use one of the credential from this database. So yeah. So let's take it admin password. So yeah, you can see I got logged in. So let me log out and log in with a fake credential or the credential which is not exist in the database. So ABCD, ABCD. Let me show you. Yeah, you can see ABCD, ABCD, and this credential is not present in the database. So let me log in, and you can see I'm not able to log in. So now we will try to put a SQL injection, which is one or one equals to one. Let me zoom in. 1 or 1 equals to 1. So I'll put this SQL injection in both the parameters, username and password. And yeah, yeah, you can see I've got the admin access, you know. So this is all about SQL injection.
Yeah. So, like, does anyone has any doubts in SQL injection authentication bypass uh, practical which was done now? Anyone?
Sir, what was
Hi,
the
Bhaskar.
password?
Sorry.
Uh,
Okay. Can anyone speak? Or you
uh,
can use the chat box.
no, speak one by one. No one is.
Okay. Hi, Bhaskar.
Yeah.
This is Basavaraj. You can. My display name is Network and Security.
Hmm.
This one, SQL, authentication bypass. So on a real world, like if I want to find any bugs with SQL on SQL injection, so wherever I see this username and password field, I can directly go and try this one, or in any other locations also, in other
See,
fields also, I
it's
can try.
yeah. Let me tell you, it again, it depends actually, right? You can, if you know that, you can just give a try on 1 or 1 is equal to 1 on the credentials. But still, most of the websites, they are now actually a bit secure, and they block any apostrophe or these kind of symbols in the username. So it's better if you try from burp rather than using simple browser, right? Second thing, whenever you see a parameter in the URL, right? Maybe like ID is equal to 1 2 3 4, something like that. Just try to enter an apostrophe after that. And if you see some SQL error, right, then there is a possibility of SQL injection. If the SQL error is not being sanitized and if it is being shown to the user, it can be attacked, and you can use SQL map. That will be very easy. It will make your life easier. Fine. And yeah, Shivani, you were saying something.
Me. No?
Okay. Uh, there was someone else who was asking question, right?
Yeah. Uh, I didn't get you, सौम्य ज्योति. पासवर्ड क्या टेक्स्ट ही रहेगा इंस्पेक्ट में? No. First, I use the credential from the database, the admin or the password, and then I tried with the credential which is not present in the database, which is ABCD or ABCD, and then at last I use SQL injection, which is 1 or 1 equals to 1 in the both username and password, and it will log me into the admin access, admin account, you can
Yeah.
say.
So basically, in the database, in the top, in the firstmost form, in the top foremost user ID, right? It'll enter you into that account. Most probably, it'll do this thing.
And I use that text, the Soumya is asking. मैंने वो टेक्स्ट को पासवर्ड को टेक्स्ट में कन्वर्ट करा सो दैट मैं आपको दिखा सकूं कि मैंने पासवर्ड ABCD लिखा है.
Okay. So you when to inspect element and change the input
Yeah.
type from password to text.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was just because you can see the password over there, nothing else.
Whose account
So
will
हर्षा whose account will it log in? नहीं, ये ट्विटर पे नहीं चलेगा, कहीं ऐसे बड़े बड़े वेबसाइट्स में ट्राई मत करना.
हाँ,
Again,
yeah.
this is why we said, if you are in any bug crowd or hacker on some other website, right, then you can try these things. And don't worry, tomorrow कल हम लोग अच्छे से explain करेंगे, and कल का session बहुत important रहेगा. Don't try to miss it. And might be a possibility that you will be having maybe 5 or 10 minutes extra tomorrow. Not 5 or 10, maybe 15 minutes extra for tomorrow session, because practical थोड़ा सा late हो सकता है while explaining. Fine. And I mean your web app. So people
Uh,
who want, yeah, you can.
I want to ask, like, can we have this like a session where we can just generally, like, we can do where we can just discuss more about these
They
things?
there is TechDrill's what we say Discord channel. You can join over there. See, yesterday and today I'm not feeling that well. That is why I was not active there. But from today
Well,
again,
it's
I'll be
fine.
active.
It's fine. Like, we can have, like, on Sunday maybe we can have like a conference for where we can just talk about
Yeah,
these
sure,
things. That would be
sure,
great.
sure.
Thank
We
you.
can, we can. You can just raise kind of a query in this Discord channel, and you can just tag me, Bharat, Shivani, Varsha, Vrij, everyone, and we can plan a meeting for that. You can join Discord channel at discord.gdgjalandhar.com.
Yeah, I already did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll have practical session tomorrow. We'll be discussing about IDOR attacks and then privilege escalation and cross-site scripting. All these practical things will go tomorrow. And I hope today's session you got to know about vulnerabilities name and just a description. It was kind of a just explanation because there were many questions coming up. So tomorrow we'll be focusing on practical stuff. Fine.
Rajdeep is saying, क्या हुआ sir? You okay now?
अरे हाँ, सब ठीक है. हल्का सा वैक्सीन के बाद थोड़ा थोड़ा सबको होता है.
Yeah.
Not issue. Okay, learning management system. We see, don't don't attack in any learning management systems. Fine. अगर जहाँ पे access है, see guys, I'll request you, don't try any mischievous thing today. कल करेंगे, ठीक है? कल आप लोग भी करोगे, हम लोग भी करेंगे, ठीक है?
Yeah.
Access के साथ करेंगे, and we'll make sure by tomorrow evening we'll have tomorrow evening, or most probably in worst situation day after tomorrow evening, you'll be getting private invitations as well from HackerOne. Fine. So not issue. You can also mention it in your CV if you want later on that you got invitation from so and so. अगर तुम्हें कोई flaw मिल गया, even if it gets duplicate, you can add it in your CV.
युवाना is saying, कल अपनी कॉलेज के वेबसाइट पर भी करूंगा साथ में.
नहीं, कॉलेज
This
की
is
वेबसाइट में मत करना.
yeah,
या
yeah.
सी ओके,
पैसे ही पैसे
कुछ भी
होंगे.
नहीं. बस मैं बता रहा हूँ, ये सब चीज मत करना. अगेन रिमेंबर द थर्ड स्लाइड व्हेन on every day which Shivani says important notice, keep that in mind. सतर्क रहें, सुरक्षित रहें, अपने जज्बातों को काबू में रख लें, whatever it is. Okay,
Yes,
so
guys, don't try it in your college.
yeah, don't try it at your home and in your colleges. Okay, then guys, let's drop and let's meet tomorrow at the same time, and we'll try to complete all the practicals from tomorrow to 3 days, because these 3 days will be kind of hectic, and don't miss these 3 days. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you guys. Thank you for being an amazing audience. We'll meet tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, thank you, Shwani. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.